For this project, I'm doing something insane and building an armor plate at less than 1.5 inches thick to be able to stop the 50 BMG. Now this is a round with nearly 14,000 foot-pounds of energy and is classified as an anti-material round designed to punch through solid steel. So even the thickest level 4 plus plates that say that they can stop a 50 BMG, they're actually rated for standoff protection, meaning that the backface deformation is so severe that it will crush pretty much anything behind it as it protrudes drastically out the back. So what I went for designing this plate was keeping it under 1.5 inches and getting near zero backface deformation. People keep telling me, take your tests, split them into multiple videos and pad each with discussion and reactions, basically getting more juice from the same squeeze. Well, it's a good thing I like it strong because we're doing everything all in this one video.
Oh,
there it
dude,
is.
That's sick.
Yeah.
That's so cool, dude. Let's.
I know, it's not loaded, of course.
Solid, clean slide. Huge mat. Get on the ground!
Yeah, right.
Hands behind your back!
Immediately inappropriate.
Dude, nice.
As I mentioned, these are armor piercing rounds. They do have a steel penetrator in here, but they're also incendiary, meaning that they have some chemicals in here that upon impact will combust and generate thousands of degrees on impact. It is for this reason that I'm avoiding thermoplastics, as those might melt prematurely under this impact. One of those even being ultra-high molecular weight polyethylene, which is a common material in bulletproof armor due to its ability to be super light while stopping rounds, and its ability to melt actually helps in some cases because it gums up the round and slows it down. But in this case, I'm steering away from it just due to the amount of thermal energy we're going to be generating off this guy. So I'm going with a material that's highly heat resistant. So cue the lava. This is basalt, and it looks kind of like an ordinary igneous rock, which it kind of is. This quite literally comes from lava once it cools. But to make this into fabric, only certain deposits with the perfect balance of chemicals can be used, such that it can be melted back down into its molten state, extruded as a fiber, and then woven into extremely strong sheets. And it's extremely heat resistant. The melting point of basalt is above 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit, making it very robust under these thermal conditions. I also have a bunch of ultra hard steels from Oshkosh here. The two materials I'm using are AR500 and SR500. Some folks have heard of the AR500 armor and they think that the AR stands for assault rifle. AR stands for abrasion resistant in this case. So it's abrasion resistant 500 steel. And the SR500 is shooting range steel, which is a little bit harder than AR500 while being about the same weight. So we're going to compare and contrast these two, but since these are so strong, the lowest energy cartridge we're firing is going to be the M855, which is an AR-15 assault rifle round. It's 5.56, but it has a steel penetrator inside to get even better penetration and punch through more materials. Now this is 300% the energy of that of the 9mm. And to give you a bit of that headspace, I made a basalt composite panel, the material we just talked about, and we're going to shoot it once with the 9mm, and then we're going to shoot it with the 5.56 just to show you the difference of energy. These plates are super thin, much less than 1/4 inch, so don't be surprised about the backface deformation that occurred from the 9mm. Next up is the 5.56.
Holy.
Which you can see it punched right on through, leaving a bit of a hole in the 2 clay blocks behind it. The other clay block actually fell off the stand there, but it went through, of course, both of them and the plate, no problem. Now for the next set of tests, I've got 3 1/4 inch steel plates. One of them is a 1/4 inch of AR500 steel with an official spall coating. This is an NIJ rated plate that I got online, and the next 2 are actually from Oshkosh. So they now supply raw AR500 steel and SR500 steel for custom projects. So all I had to do was go to their website and drop the file for this sappy plate size cut, and then select the metals that I wanted it made out of, which of course I selected one for AR500, the other for SR500, and then based on the stock that you have, it'll give you what options of thicknesses they can cut of that medium. For this material, they can actually still cut all the way up to a full 1/2 inch of these hardened materials, which is pretty impressive, with all of their cut edges looking perfect even on these thicker steels. I usually don't mention pricing, but I was shocked to find that making a custom cut sappy plated Oshkosh out of AR500 steel was actually quite a bit cheaper than buying a broad market alternative of this already on the market. Now, of course, that does have spall coating, but I was still pretty surprised to be able to have the price be that reasonable. So do check out that link and discount in the description below for your first Oshkosh orders. Now, you might notice this black stuff on the official NIJ rated plate. That's what's called a spall coating. When a bullet hits something super hard like this metal, it doesn't just fall to the ground like in the Superman movies. All this energy still has to go somewhere. So what happens is the round explodes on the surface and those shards go in every which way, containing a meaningful percentage of the original energy. Those shards can be very damaging, especially if they go into something that matters. So a spall coating is sprayed on to try to divert some of that away, kind of outwards, or be caught in the surface. The calibers we're doing on each of these is 5.56, 308, 300 Winchester Magnum, and then the 50 cal. So we are going to test this first NIJ rated coating and see how well it performs. So the shot got just stopped really fast, but the spall coating did not do much. But we got a massive amount. Look at that. It's like a shotgun. Yep. Man, that's like, no, wow. That's insane.
Nothing.
Wow.
That's a good plate.
Wow. But
it disintegrated. Yeah. Actually, oh. Dude.
Oh man, that velocity. It went through this beam.
Oh, Caleb, look
it still went Caleb, through the beam.
Holy crap.
Oh no. Wow. So the spalling was not ideal there. It kind of went all over the place and seemed to have plenty of energy in the witness. Now, speaking of that witness, all I did to make that, very simple. I just got a cheap concrete form and then sliced it off in sections to make each one, basically so I could catch where all the round goes. And it's pretty thick, heavy paper here, so it's quite safe to assume that if a round can go through that, then it can go through your skin. And then I just got double-sided foam sticky tape and lined it on the inside to catch the extra powder and lower velocity bits so I can at least see where the direction was where things were going, even if they didn't fully penetrate this board. So I can get an idea of the energy profile there. Yeah, so we got even more. You know, this is still the original 5.56 is still layered in here, but we obviously got a lot more chunks. Got a bigger dent off the 308 too. So there we go. We got a little bit more of a super tiny pocket though, but. Oh, dropped the plate already.
That shell hit me in the chest.
Yeah, the shell's fly back. Hold on. Obviously had a lot of extra energy. Oh. And whoa,
it stopped
wait, it did.
Dang.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so
dude,
they're progressively bigger, right? 5.56 did almost nothing. 308,
That's insane.
I can't believe it stopped at 300 Winchester Magnum.
That's nuts.
I mean, this thing is
it destroyed.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and try the truck bed liner. See how that does. Next up is the AR500 steel from Oshkosh with the truck bed liner applied. So quick shout out to Steve over at P&B Trucking there in Madison. He went ahead and took this plate on in, primed it, and sprayed it with a flak jacket truck bed liner, which is a polyurethane coating, and it's super durable. So here's that just truck bed liner, and it looks pretty much identical actually to our NIJ coating on this plate here. So I'm curious to see if there's going to be any differences there. All right, the M855 round again, steel penetrator. It took off the whole coat.
That's cool.
Wow.
Look at that design.
Jeez.
That's a work of
I think
that's crazy.
We got some big chunks coming through here.
Put that on your wall.
Wow. But the steel is performing identically. This is the AR500 steel from Oshkosh, and we have very similar depth of indentation here with no backface deformation either. I mean, we don't have this spall cover anymore, so we're going to end up with some shards going into our tent.
I have some sister. It's not bad.
Our 1/4 inch AR500 plates down there. I've got my full metal jacket 308. It stopped the 5.56 round, no problem. I'm gonna see if it does similar results with this guy. The snowfall is really coming down, making it hard to get a good visual. All right. wider dent. Now this has that steel core, and you can see I did gouge it a lot more right here. That steel core did that gouging, where the Full Metal Jacket's still just lead, so it's a little bit more of a soft, but there's more energy. So, all right, now we're doing the 300 Win Mag, and I'm pretty confident it's gonna be stopped. Same material, just different manufacturer potentially. The snow is just making it almost impossible. Lens is fogged up. So that launched it. Wow.
That's insane. That went so far.
Yeah. But yeah, there it is right there. Bigger dent, but I cannot believe how well this material's holding up. So this material from Oshkosh, same quality. This is fantastic.
Look at the Spalding though.
So this is AR 500, so that's great. So their material works just as well as an official NIJ plate. Now we're gonna do the SR 500 from them. So we're gonna see if that's even better. So now we're switching over to that SR 500 steel. But this one got the crash makerspace treatment where I functionalized the steel surface and then I applied with toughened epoxy, basalt fiber, and quasi-isotropic layering under high pressure. All right, so the basalt armor panel is next. It's theoretically gonna be a little bit harder. We're gonna see if this does better, and we're also gonna see if the basalt coating does a better job than the actual sprayed on liners that we've seen, which have had a lot of spall. All right, green tip 556 again. Same as usual. So the spall coating stayed intact, and I think it probably did a pretty good job because look at that. It didn't delaminate. So I did a good job. This is with toughened epoxy.
Wow.
Totally flat in the back, and let's see what the spall coating looks like here.
There's some on it.
Oh no, I don't see anything. I see powder. Look at it grabbed a piece of the bullet right here, but it had not enough energy. It didn't penetrate though. Look at that. No, it did great. Look at this.
Wow.
Look at that. Actually did the best by far. Like that's actually pretty significant. We didn't get any peeling of the plate, so I got really good adhesion with this design. And it's the same thickness as the
Spalding really took a lot of
coatings.
Yep.
Like this is less than a 1/16 of an inch. It's super thin right here on the surface. All right, same as usual. Full Metal Jacket 308. All right. Check it out. So, man, that didn't do any spall. But you can see how much is caught. Like, so this basalt fiber is super strong when it's in this epoxy. It was catching a lot of energy to widen up like that. So I think our winner so far is the SR 500 with basalt. And we're getting some pretty good results there. 300 Winchester Magnum versus that basalt spalling shield, whatever you want to call it. Let's get it. All right. I think I kind of hit pretty close to the 308 though, so let's check it out again. Oh, we did get some more. We got spalling that time. Oh, wow. Okay, so look at this exit.
That's wild.
It went under the plate and it's delaminating it. This one was catching the rounds, the spalling. So I think I'm going to use this as my final just by looking at these results.
Yep.
The final super plate is going to have a basalt thin layer just like this to catch the spall.
Yeah.
The rest is going to be the rest of that chemistry and materials that I have lined up. Wow, it's really on there. Yeah, I'm not getting that off. But I mean, it shows you that the process I did worked really well because that's not coming off of there. Oh yeah, using the entry.
Using leverage.
That's not working. Yeah, the glove. The single glove.
All right, you got this.
Yeah, 2 men.
It's not coming off.
Told you. It's a lot better. We get actual pocketing here. Regardless though, it's still holding up just fine. So
No, I think we should do.
All right, so we saw that the 1/4 inch was stopping even 308 and 300 Win Mag close together. So the 3/8 inch stock that they sent me will absolutely stop this. I'm just curious to see how shallow of a dent it leaves by having the added material behind here. And it just sanded the surface. I mean, no dent at all.
So we messed up. It was so cold that somebody forgot to hit record, but you can see here that the spall was so great that it perforated all the way around the entire thing there. It was a great shot that we unfortunately missed, but
Now that we've maxed out my 300 Win Mag, all remaining tests are being done with the 50 BMG. Man, after a few hours, my fingers just aren't wanting to cooperate anymore. That's insane.
It's in
This
half.
took a 300 Winchester Magnum, broke it completely in half.
dude, that's insane.
You can see some of the jacket here. Remember, this is not armor penetrating. This is just our regular full metal jacket.
You're not making it through that.
That's crazy. Wait a second, no way.
Dude, it stopped it. No freaking way.
That's unbelievable. No way, dude.
Dude, it stopped at 50
I
cal.
mean, that is full metal jacket lead. but
Holy
still.
crap.
Bro.
Dude.
And the dent's not even bad.
Dude.
All right, so we're gonna put some clay behind this since it did so well. And we're gonna, ooh, you can see how soft this clay is. It's super, super soft. So it's great for showing how big of a dent we get. Let's slap her in. All right, it's held in the clay now. And so that ball just dented it. Insane. We're gonna shoot it with some AP from Lake City and see if it does any different. All right, let's do it. All right, so this is the API, armor penetrating incendiary. Ooh, yeah, that went through. Look at that hole.
That's a perfect hole.
Look at that. So the armor penetrating makes a big,
Obviously.
that's a big difference from a dent to this.
Yep.
So it did its job. And look how it flattened this whole thing.
Oh. I've never seen the clay that splayed out.
That shoved it. Wow. Oh my goodness. Here's a chunk of it right here. Good. Wow.
Wow.
That's brutal. All right, we've got another AP round, but this is the 1/2 inch. So the armor penetrating just punches through. Look at that. Doesn't care. So the lead ball, full metal jacket, just gets stopped at 3/8 of an inch. Up to full 1/2 inch, it's just going right on through. Makes a huge difference, man. All right, AP versus SR 500, full 1/2 inch. All right, let's see here. Yeah, it's just same result. Arm penetrating, drills right on through. So clearly I've got my work cut out for me since this API round basically punched the hole the same size as the diameter of the overall round, and it sheared clean through this 1/2 inch SR 500 steel, and it still had lots of energy left over. Now imagine this. These huge rounds are accelerating under tremendous pressure all the way through the entirety of this 29-inch barrel, all to then be stopped in less than 1.5 inches. So you can kind of imagine how much pressure and forces that we're dealing with to stop this guy. Now I am using SR 500 steel in this design because it's incredibly hard and very strong, as we saw. It's very durable. It doesn't just shatter like ceramics do. And for those ceramics, I am going with my trusty boron carbide tiles. Now this is one of the hardest man-made materials, and it's great at shattering the bullet and deforming that steel core that's inside these armor penetrating rounds. This of course can also withstand incredibly high heat, higher than any of the other materials in this build. Now the concept is that I'm going to be layering basalt fiber as catches, the SR 500 as backstops, and the ceramic as the breaker all strategically and compressed with my toughened nanoparticle epoxy. Those nanoparticles are going to help resist fracture lines from propagating further out, with the constant idea of having as much material contributing to stopping the round as possible. When you have these high velocities with steel, the bullet essentially shears through it, just like we see. It doesn't dent and pull the rest of the material with it. And because of that shearing, it essentially is wearing that steel cap on its way out. But what I'm doing is I'm using this behavior to my advantage and actually using that sheared steel cap to then go through my basalt catches. And if done properly, it should be much more effective at stopping these high energy rounds than traditional ceramic and ultra high molecular weight polyethylene. Now there's still a challenge of actually building this thing. So I have to functionalize the steel to get good bonding inside my panel, and it also has to be done in multiple phases with various clamping steps or vacuuming, depending on how I'm doing each layer. So it took me a whole week to build this plate here. So if I was to sell these, it would be extremely expensive, not to mention all the materials are pretty costly in them too. But there's another step. I can't just line up all these little tiles and pressurize the plate. These would end up scattering all over the place, leaving massive gaps between, dramatically weakening the plate. This is where I designed a retainer wall. Now, Formlabs has 3 new types of resins that behave more like thermoplastics, and they're really strong. So I made a very simple retainer and did some tension tests, with the clear winner being Tough 1000. With the walls being just a few millimeters thick, it was able to withstand over 60 pounds of tension, which is pretty awesome. Ooh. Ooh. And it was very stiff as well. So I just infilled the corners to basically make a very rigid plate to hold all these in place while those layers go under thousands of pounds of pressure between the vacuuming, clamps, and extra weights that I add on top. Then to wrap things up, I do my basalt spall protection that we saw did so well, and then actually just sewed a simple pouch with 1 layer of Kevlar, 1 layer of ballistic nylon. These are going to do nothing to stop the round, but it will help the plate from delaminating and gives a super strong base to attach my straps to that won't tear out very easily. And the plate did turn out under 1.5 inches thick, which I'm happy about, but it weighs in at a whopping 23 pounds. So given that this performs really well, the first thing I'm going to do is start cutting weight. I'll cut that before I start cutting thickness down, because thickness is actually harder to do than reducing the weight. And I wanted to say thanks to Matt over at Buffman Range for letting me use some of his demo footage that he's done on some level 4+ plates, so we can compare my armor versus those other options. And I'm not dissing these other ones at all. Those are great plates, especially for the cost that they're able to manufacture and sell them for. He runs a YouTube channel and does a fantastic job overall with ballistics and being very clear about the velocities and energies involved, distances, does a really phenomenal job there. So I really respect what he does on that front. But it just goes to show you how thick these level 4+ plates are and how big the backface deformation is against these same AP threats. So it's super soft. I mean, you can see it's going to show whatever deformation we get, it's going to show up. Here she goes. A lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of money. Let's get it. All right, armor penetrating against the super plate. See how we do. Big deal. Look at that smoke. And it took it.
Oh my god.
It took armor penetrating at 50 yards. 50 yards AP and it stopped it, and there's minimal backface deformation. We're looking at maybe
Like an inch?
Yeah.
It's gooey though. Is it like super gooey?
Well, this clay is super soft. But this stopped. And it's got multiple different layers in here of different types. You can see some of them. So the plate did insanely well. I mean, this is ridiculous. We have no backface deformation. It is completely flat. Really did a tremendous job. At the very back here, there's actually a mix of composites, so the very back is not just basalt. I find that it deflects too easily. But the bullet didn't go very far. I mean, we've got some of this boron carbide that's tunneling here, but the plate only goes right here. The bullet only penetrated about halfway through this entire plate, less than 1 inch of penetration. So that's incredible, and I'm confident that I could have continued shooting this guy several more times and still gotten pretty good results. So that makes it very clear to me that I can absolutely start shedding a lot of the weight that was in here, because I've got something that stopped that 50 with relative ease. So maybe I went a little bit overkill, but again, That was my first plate to stop the 50 cal, and I hadn't built up the headspace to understand, what kind of materials I need to be able to stop that round. This is where a like or a subscribe or share really does help support the channel, helps the algorithm to push this out to more folks out there, so I can continue to show you what I've learned, try to make more educational series on these projects, and share my resources with you all. And as always, I read as many comments as I can before work each day, so even if I don't respond, there's a good chance that I've read it. So until my next project, I'll see you in those comments below.